groovy.
Hey everybody, Jim here, welcome back. Today I'm going to be giving some more import game recommendations, and today we're going to be taking a look at the PC Engine. And most of the PC Engine library stayed exclusive to Japan, so there's going to probably be a lot more of these. And today we're just taking a look at 5. I decided to split it up into 3 HuCard games and 2 CD games. And we're going to start off with this one by NEC Avenue. This is really awesome, SonSon 2. This game is obviously the sequel to the original SonSon, which was a Capcom arcade game from the early 80s, but Capcom actually didn't have anything at all to do with this game, which is okay because NEC Avenue typically made pretty good games. This one is more or less a straightforward platformer, though it does involve a bit more exploration than your average 16-bit platformer. You have to hunt around each stage to find specific items and keys that you'll need to progress through the stage and to get to the boss battles. Other than that, just a really good, solid playing platformer, good hit detection, really fun. You go around killing enemies and collecting fruits and vegetables to earn points that you can spend in shops that are scattered around each stage, and in these shops you can spend your points to increase your attack power, to get health power-ups, to increase your magic and get various magic spells and other various things like that. So really just all around fun, decent platformer, also really good, colorful, detailed graphics. I think this is a really good looking game and a really good soundtrack as well. Again, Capcom didn't have anything to do with this one, but NEC Avenue took up the reins and made a really solid platformer. If you go looking for the PC Engine version online, because I believe that is the only version of this game available, it is about $50 or so, which is a little bit pricey, but this is a top-notch platformer. I'd highly recommend it if you're into PC Engine collecting. SonSon 2, really great game, highly recommended, especially if you've played and enjoyed any of the other platformers that were released for the TurboGrafx 16. Next up, excellent game by Irem, actually one of my favorite games they've ever produced. It's Mr. Heli no Daibouken. And most people will know this game simply as Mr. Heli. I know it got a number of ports to various old school PCs, but it never got a release on the TurboGrafx 16, which is really too bad because this game is great. It's actually one of my favorite PC Engine games. I'm a big shooter fan, and this game could technically be classified as a shooter, but there's a lot more going on. As Mr. Heli, you can obviously fly through the air, but he also has feet, so you can land on the ground and walk around and drop bombs on the ground, launch missiles overhead, and fire your main guns in front of you. And every stage is filled with lots of destructible blocks, and most of them will reveal money that you can collect, but some of them will reveal power-ups that you can then spend that money on. And the power-ups range from homing missiles and more powerful lasers and shields and all kinds of stuff. Lots of really great boss battles, really challenging game, but really, really fun. Again, a lot more exploration, a lot deeper gameplay than you'll get from your typical side-scrolling shooter. So I think this is some of Irem's best work from back in the 80s. Also, really good graphics, really good sound design as well. This game, if you go looking for it, you'll probably spend about $30 or so on eBay, which I think is a decent price for this game. Again, one of my favorites for the PC Engine, some of Irem's best stuff. Mr. Heli, without a doubt, absolutely awesome game. Mr. Heli no Daibouken, really great game. Again, one of my favorite Irem games. Just all around awesome, highly recommended. Next up, really excellent shooter. This is another one by NEC Avenue. This is Download. And I think more people are familiar with the sequel, Download 2, mainly because it has a plot about killing Hitler. So I can definitely understand why that's a standout game in the PC Engine library, and it's one I'm going to get around to eventually. But this game is a really exceptional shooter, a lot of fun. It's a side-scrolling shooter, and it features a plot kind of akin to the second game. You play as Sid, who is a cyber diver. He can go into information systems, and he can even go into other people's brains and get in there and fight all kinds of, just cool, crazy, off-the-wall shit. So definitely has a lot in common with some anime like Psycho Diver, Ghost in the Shell, stuff like that. The visual design of the cutscenes, I think, is very akin to something like Akira, something like that. It has a very late 80s, early 90s anime feel to it, and the gameplay is just solid. It controls really well. You have a handful of weapons and sub-weapons that you can choose from before the start of each stage. It's challenging without being too frustrating. The graphics are really good. The sound design is excellent. Just an all-around really fun game. Again, another great title from NEC Avenue. They typically put out good stuff, so if you're going to get into PC Engine collecting, maybe look at NEC Avenue's catalog. They have some good stuff in there, but download. Definitely a top-notch, I dare say, underappreciated shooter for the PC Engine. Download. Really awesome side-scrolling shooter. Highly recommend it. And there's a really great sequel as well that I'm going to be talking about at some point in the future. Next up, awesome PC Engine port of a classic that was released in the US on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is Downtown Nekketsu Monogatari. And that title is a bit of a mouthful, but all you really need to know is that this is the PC Engine CD port of River City Ransom for the NES, which automatically makes it really cool. So if you enjoyed River City Ransom on the Nintendo Entertainment System, then you will really like this game, because it's basically the exact same gameplay, really satisfying two-player beat-em-up action, get lots of weapons, beat up a bunch of punks, and then move on to boss battles and progress all around the different areas of the game. You collect money from your defeated foes, and you can buy health power-ups, or you can buy books to give yourself new and more powerful attacks. So all around, just the exact same great gameplay from the NES version, but it features updated and upgraded graphics, really excellent CD quality music. It's the same soundtrack from the NES version, just given a nice big boost by being on CD, and there's even voice acting as well, which is really cool. So this is an excellent port of an already amazing game. The only drawback is it's pretty expensive. You're definitely going to be spending over $100 if you go looking for this one online. So it's more for collectors than anybody else, I would say. But if you love River City Ransom on the NES, then you're really going to like this one. So if you have the expendable income, I guess, then I would recommend picking this one up. As a fan of the Kunio-kun series, I think this is just really a standout title in the series, probably the best, and this port is absolutely excellent. Downtown Nekketsu Monogatari. I would highly recommend this one to fans of the Kunio-kun series, absolutely. Downtown Nekketsu Monogatari, excellent game. If you're a fan of River City Ransom, this would be a really excellent way to re-experience it. I highly recommend this game. And last up, a really great shooter by Masaya. This is for the anime fans. It's Macross 2036. And there are a handful of side-scrolling Macross shooters out there. I don't think this one is the best. I think that honor goes to Scrambled Valkyrie for the Super Famicom, but this is still a really solid shooter with some excellent controls and decent challenge, but it's also fair. A ton of different weapons to choose from, and by that I mean at least a dozen or more. The only drawback is you cannot carry over a weapon from one stage to the next. You have to choose a new weapon for every stage. Some are better than others, and when you find your favorite, you'll want to stick with that one for the rest of the game, but you have to swap back and forth between stages. But at least it coaxes you into trying out all of the weapons and really appreciating the variety the game has to offer. And on top of that, it's a Macross game, which is just a really excellent anime property, and it's on the CD, so obviously you're going to get some really cool looking cutscenes with some great voice acting, really excellent CD quality music. The graphics are great, really beautiful, very colorful and detailed stages and ships and characters, cutscenes. It's all really top-notch stuff. Masaya was really good with that kind of thing on the PC Engine, including lots of really great cutscenes and stuff like that in all of their games. So if you're a Macross fan, this is a game that's obviously going to appeal to you, and if you're a shooter fan, this is a game that you're going to like as well. It is another one that's a bit more expensive these days. I would say at least 60 bucks online, which is a lot to ask for a shooter, but again, if you're a shooter fan, if you're a Macross fan, you'll appreciate this one because it's a good Macross game and it's a good shooter, and I would highly recommend picking it up if you are a fan of either or. Macross 2036, really excellent shooter, highly recommended, especially if you are a fan of the Macross series. Really cool game, and that's it. Those are 5 awesome Japan-exclusive PC Engine games that I would definitely recommend importing and playing really any way you can. They're good stuff. Hey, down in the comments, do you have any favorite PC Engine games that never got released outside of Japan, or what are some that you would like to get your hands on that you haven't been able to play yet? I'd like to know. And until next time, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Goodbye.